It is a significant opening.
This could be the offset chamber.
Another anomaly is this one in the northern tip of the swamp.
This could be the Jack Adams box.
The box.
Jack approached your father and said, hey, I've got a metal target.
Yes.
For centuries, Oak Island has clung to its secrets, shrouded in layers of mystery and speculation. But now, the pieces of its puzzle are finally starting to align. The long-lost treasure, once dismissed as mere legend, is edging closer to reality. Breakthrough discoveries, compelling evidence, and cutting-edge technology have brought the team to the brink of uncovering what could be the greatest find in history. Even a small piece of cut wood has sparked intrigue. Could it have been part of a box? And if that box was metal, could it explain the strange anomaly on the scans? The evidence says yes. Jeremy's recent survey has revealed something extraordinary. Deep red hues on his conductivity map point to a high concentration of metal, exactly what the team has been seeking. They believe it could be the infamous Jack Adams box, a container long rumored to hold valuable artifacts. The data suggests a metal target buried deep in the swamp, perfectly matching historical accounts. The so-called eye of the swamp, once thought to be a natural feature, now appears to be something far more significant. Years ago, a peculiar rock formation hinted at human intervention. With Jeremy's latest findings, it is becoming clear that a man-made structure may be concealing something of immense value. In the swamp's northern tip, scans reveal a circular, moderately high conductivity reading just above the eye. But the revelations do not stop there. At the Money Pit, sonar scans of borehole L15 have uncovered a massive void 150 feet underground. The imagery shows a vast, linear cavity, too precise to be natural. As the scans come through, the opening is large, distinct, and clearly man-made. Could this be the legendary offset chamber said to house the treasure? The sonar data shows well-defined walls, possibly built by those who hid the riches. As the high-definition imagery is processed, the truth becomes undeniable. They are looking at a man-made tunnel. This tunnel extends beyond the borehole, possibly leading to something monumental. Signals from both east and west suggest solid material, likely wood, or perhaps a disturbed chamber. Every clue points to the same conclusion: a hidden vault may be within reach. The excitement is palpable. This is no longer just another anomaly. This is the breakthrough they have been waiting for. While this unfolds, Lot 10 offers another dramatic twist. Ground-penetrating radar scans reveal anomalies beneath the northern face of the swamp, exactly where Fred Nolan once suggested Oak Island may have originally been two separate landmasses. The data hints at a massive buried structure, possibly a centuries-old man-made dam. If true, it would explain why the swamp exists at all, to hide something. The theory has evolved beyond speculation. The radar results confirm it. The pieces are coming together: the mysterious metal box, the engineered structures, the underground void, and now the swamp's hidden purpose. Everything points to the treasure being real and tantalizingly close. With excavation permits secured and plans in place, the hunt is no longer just a search. It is about to become a recovery. The team returns to the swamp's southern border to build on earlier discoveries. Over the years, they have found several ship-related artifacts here, dating between the 15th and 18th centuries. The most surprising find, however, was a section of ship railing from the 8th century, suggesting visitors long before recorded history. As excavation progresses, a curved wooden structure emerges from the mud, possibly part of a ship's keel or runner, designed to protect a vessel during shore landings. This would be yet another sign of centuries-old maritime activity. Digging deeper reveals a wall of wooden planks arranged both horizontally and vertically, consistent with earlier claims that a man-made structure lies beneath the swamp. If so, it would mean the swamp was deliberately created to hide something of great value. To investigate further, a geoscientist is brought in. The surrounding sediment shows a distinct red layer, the same material found beneath a nearby ancient stone road. This suggests a direct link between the two structures, possibly stretching back hundreds of years. The team theorizes that the swamp once served as a loading platform, with the stone road leading directly to a concealed vault. This theory gains momentum when they uncover an ancient map hinting at something buried on the island. Xena Halper is called in to analyze two maps, one dating back to 1179, proving Oak Island was known centuries before modern times. A mysterious dot labeled Rodon points to a possible connection with Henry Sinclair's 1398 expedition, and perhaps the Knights Templar. For years, theories of pirate gold, lost manuscripts, and Marie Antoinette's jewels have swirled around the island. Now, with mounting evidence, those theories may be on the verge of becoming proven history. The Templar connection still loomed large, etched into Xena's maps with cryptic engravings. The team gathered, convinced they were closer than ever to cracking a 229-year-old mystery. One map showed all of Nova Scotia, which was impressive enough, but it was the French map from 1347 that truly caught their attention. Words in French stood out. Surely they had to mean something. Could the French have reached the island before anyone else? No one could say for certain. Adding to the intrigue were words like anchor and valve, whose meanings in this context were unknown. Whatever their purpose, they deepened the island's ever-growing list of questions. The Laginas and their crew knew one thing for sure: they were in this for the long haul. Standing near the old hatch, the team realized their search was about more than treasure. It was about uncovering something buried deep in history. They traced old maps in search of their next clue, and morale stayed high, even with so many unanswered questions. The deeper they dug, the more convinced they became that the island's secrets lay underground. The treasure might wait, but the story itself was just as compelling. Their thoughts kept returning to the Knights Templar. Could they have built a castle or fort on Oak Island long before Prince Henry Sinclair ever set foot there? And if they had, could that structure still be buried beneath centuries of dirt and time? Determined to find out, the team focused on locating the mysterious hatch. Comparing Xena's maps with modern satellite images might reveal a matching landmark. If they found one, it could lead straight to the hatch. Rick, however, remained cautious. While Xena's findings were fascinating, he wanted solid proof. Oak Island had a history of misleading treasure hunters, and mistakes could be costly. Still, the crew pressed forward, taking their search near Dave Blankenship's house. When the old maps were overlaid with current images, they seemed to match perfectly. Shape, borders, and features aligned. Then came the discovery, a bright spot on the map. Could this be the hatch? The Laginas were stunned. After years of searching, they might finally have something tangible, but Oak Island rarely made things easy. No one knew what the hatch looked like. Was it metal, stone, or something else entirely? Jack Begley, ever the optimist, noticed that the bright spot on both maps corresponded to a hole. Could that be where the hatch had been hiding all along? The possibility brought a rush of excitement, even to the skeptics. Rick and Marty debated the implications of the find. The hatch could be linked to the island's wildest treasure theories, whether involving pirates, raiders, or ancient knights. Whoever had hidden the treasure, the Laginas were determined to uncover the truth. Perhaps Xena's maps would prove to be the key. The search for answers continued, leading the team deeper into a labyrinth of clues, traps, and surprises. Each step forward brought new challenges but also small victories that kept them hooked. It was the thrill of the chase that drove them, the belief that the next clue might unlock the truth. The path was relentless, pushing them to their physical and mental limits, but giving up wasn't an option. With their latest lead, they knew the journey ahead wouldn't be easy. There was no guarantee the hatch would yield the answers they sought. Still, hope was something the Lagina brothers carried with them, and it was enough to keep them moving forward. They chose to examine the surrounding area in greater detail. At this stage of their search, they couldn't afford to overlook anything. The maps revealed a bright spot within the area of interest, but the exact starting point for digging remained uncertain. The crew assembled their equipment and began the painstaking process of excavation. This was more than simply moving soil. It was the pursuit of history, the discovery of clues, and the push to expand their understanding of the island. With each shovelful, they inched closer to the possibility of uncovering something that could finally make all their years of effort worthwhile. Finding the hatch was thrilling, but the mystery of what lay beneath it was even more significant. Steps descending into darkness beneath the island. As they dug, each hour seemed to stretch into a full day. The oppressive heat slowed time, and the labor was punishing, yet in their minds they could already picture themselves lifting treasure from the pit. Chests brimming with gold and priceless relics sparkling in the sunlight. That vision kept them going when their muscles ached and their determination wavered. But it wasn't just about riches. The true reward would be a place in history, to be the ones who solved the puzzle that had defeated so many before them. Days bled into weeks as the excavation site widened. At times, progress was agonizingly slow. They uncovered intriguing artifacts, shards of pottery, ancient metal tools, and fragments that hinted at old structures, each with its own story, yet none providing the definitive answer they sought. Even as exhaustion threatened to overwhelm them, the team pressed on, resolved to find the truth at any cost. Amid the work, they decided to broaden their strategy. They brought in ground-penetrating radar to detect voids or hidden structures that could mark the hatch's location. It was a gamble. Every new piece of equipment meant more expense, but this was not the time to hold back. The radar revealed something promising, a hollow space close to their current dig. Could this be what they had been chasing? They had to know. Work began at the new spot, the team alert and watchful. Every scoop of earth was inspected, every stone turned over with care. Then, they struck something unusual. It wasn't the normal resistance of soil or rock. It felt artificial. Their digging became more precise. Bit by bit, a shape took form, and soon the outline of a flat rectangular surface emerged. They brushed away the soil with meticulous care until finally the object was fully visible. It was the hatch, ancient and weathered, caked with dirt and rust, seemingly untouched for centuries. The team stood around it, awestruck. After years of searching, they had discovered a hidden door beneath the island. The moment was surreal, a mix of hope and dread. What lay beyond? Could it be treasure, another disappointment, or perhaps a trap waiting to be sprung? They chose caution. Marty, ever practical, insisted on a thorough inspection before opening it. Safety came first, especially when they were so close to their goal. They used a metal detector to probe the unknown beyond the hatch. The readings were inconclusive, but something was definitely there. The tension was thick as the crew readied themselves to open it. The task required delicacy. They couldn't risk damaging what lay behind it, nor could they endanger themselves. The hatch was heavy, and it took several members straining together to lift it. Anticipation hung in the air as it began to budge, inch by inch, creaking loudly with each movement. At last, with a final concerted heave, the hatch swung open. Beneath the hatch lay a sight that stole their words. A vast, dark void yawned below, swallowing light in its depths. For a moment their eyes struggled to adjust, but shapes began to emerge, a set of ancient stone steps leading downward. The steps were worn smooth with age, their surfaces cloaked in moss and grime. Cool, damp air drifted upward, heavy with the scent of earth and decay. They exchanged quick, silent glances, a cocktail of anticipation and unease flashing across their faces. Something had been found, but the question lingered. What exactly? With flashlights ready, they began their descent, each beam slicing through the gloom. Their progress was slow, every step measured. The slick stones left no room for mistakes. The deeper they went, the narrower the space became, the air growing colder with every step. At the bottom, the narrow stairwell emptied into a tunnel carved from rough-hewn stone. The low ceiling forced them to duck slightly, and the passageway stretched into blackness ahead. How far it went, or what awaited at the other end, was anyone's guess. But retreat was not an option. The corridor wound endlessly beneath the island, twisting and turning as moisture clung to the air. The steady drip of unseen water echoed in the dark, and the uneven floor demanded constant attention. Each step amplified their sense of stepping, further away from safety and deeper into the unknown. The tunnel eventually widened into a chamber, its high-arched ceiling looming overhead. Strange markings, unrecognizable symbols, covered the walls. The age of the place was undeniable. A hush of reverence settled over the group. They had found something extraordinary hidden for centuries. At the chamber's heart sat a stone table, layered in dust and cobwebs. On its surface lay aged scrolls, their edges frayed and yellowed, alongside several intricately carved chests etched with the same symbols as the walls. The sight set their pulses racing. Could this be the treasure they had chased for so long? They pried open one chest with care. Inside gleamed coins of gold, their surfaces catching the flashlight beams in dazzling bursts. Excitement surged. Here was proof, tangible and undeniable, that something of value was hidden beneath Oak Island. This wasn't the mythical hoard they'd dreamed of, but it was enough to ignite hope anew. Yet the room offered more than gold. At its far end stood another doorway, sealed tight by a massive stone slab. Clearly, whatever was beyond had been meant to stay hidden. Determined, they pushed with all their strength until the slab shifted enough for them to squeeze through. On the other side, a smaller but equally captivating chamber revealed itself. Shelves lined the walls, each one crowded with small, ornate boxes. No two were the same. Each seemed to carry its own history. What they had found wasn't merely treasure. It was a curated collection, meticulously gathered and safeguarded. But by whom? And for what purpose? Questions multiplied, answers nowhere in sight. Still, the magnitude of the discovery was unmistakable. A preserved fragment of a forgotten past, waiting for its story to be told. For hours they explored, cataloging every find. Yet they knew they had only scratched the surface of the secrets, hidden below. Oak Island had given them proof, not just of treasure, but of history itself. Emerging back into the daylight, their sense of accomplishment was undeniable. They had endured setbacks, faced obstacles, and refused to quit. Now, they held something concrete, something that would reshape everything they thought they knew about the island. But the hunt was far from over. More clues waited to be followed, more secrets yet to be unearthed. Oak Island had surrendered one of its treasures, but there was no doubt in their minds that more lay buried, waiting. The Laginas and their crew were more determined than ever to push forward. Could the hatch truly prove the treasure's reality, or was it yet another elaborate hoax? The search continued, and so did the mystery.